everybody. Today is Friday. Kind of a dreary Friday, and seeing as how it is late January, cold and dreary is par for the course. And in addition to that, although it's getting better, considering that the solstice was about a month ago, it still is really dark really early. So, I have two children, ages 3 and 7, and they require entertainment. Not at all times, but they require daily entertainment of some kind. Stimulating entertainment, of course. And that can be more difficult when it's not as easy as, hey, let's go outside and play some soccer, or go play with your friends, or go to a playground, or let's go hiking, or summertime, swimming pool. Love the swimming pool. So I had some ideas put together for just advice on what you can do to entertain your children during the winter months, when not only on the weekdays, by the time you get home, it's probably too dark to go outside. And on the weekends, it is really cold, and a lot of times you have to stay inside. So, top priority is, A, don't get overly sick of the indoor activities that you do have by not taking advantage of going outside when it is not frigid. So if you see that it's 45 and you haven't been outside in a while, bundle them on up and go outside. Play a game that requires running. Play soccer. And you don't have to go outside for a very long time. Just take advantage of it. Second is money. If you got money, then it's rarely not much of an issue. Rock and Jump and Sky Zone are great. You'll get even more exhausted doing that than you would going outside in the middle of the summer playing real honest-to-goodness game, because you don't want to stop because it's so much fun. Those are trampoline parks. So we've been to those numerous times. There's a couple of indoor mini golf places around us. That's fun and different and not horribly expensive, but it's not particularly exhausting. You could do, there's places in the mall, bounce houses in the mall. Z-Bounce is the one that we go to, but there's 2 or 3 in our local mall, and there's a couple in every mall I've ever seen. Of course, you can just go out and just cruise the mall, wander the mall. Once a year, that's not a bad thing to do if you got a nice, decent shopping center near you. It'd be good if you could partner that with grabbing a bite to eat, or if you do have any actual honest-to-goodness shopping to do. I know we hardly ever do, but every now and again you want to go out and say, oh, you need a new shirt. So you can go cruise the mall, check out the video game store. Some secret things, some more hidden things to do, though, is we have got near us a community center that has got, you have to register as a member, but being a member is free. And it's got table tennis, foosball, basketball court, and air hockey. Sorry, not foosball, ping pong. And that is not bad. The basketball courts are typically pretty crowded, so it's not a good place to take a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old. But we do like going to the game room to play ping pong and air hockey. In addition to that, we've got near us a nature center. So a lot of the parks near us have indoor facilities that aren't huge, but are big enough that they're different and something new to do. So there's Meadowside Nature Center. Now that was really good when the eldest one was 5. I think if I were to take him back, it would be kind of silly, but he's got a 3-year-old brother, so the two of them could have fun. But he's nearing the age that's not going to be very much fun anymore. So that's a great thing to do. Of course, living in Washington, D.C., if you can brave the cold to get there, the museums are fantastic. I have heard tell of the Postal Museum. It's on my list of things that I want to do. I just have not had a chance to get there yet. But of course, we've taken them to the natural history, the American history, and the Air and Space. Have plans to take him to the history of the African American and history, and then have been to the Native American Museum, but I haven't eaten there yet. And I hear that the food there is fantastic, and particularly the salmon, which I was disappointed when I read that after I had already left, but we had eaten somewhere else that day. There are nature centers also at Great Falls. So I'm sure wherever you are, you should have some kind of a area along those lines as well. Now, so like I say, you got money. There's plenty of indoor things to do, plenty of fun stuff. In fact, they just opened there's a climbing wall near us as well, Earth Trek, indoor climbing rock. It's one of the biggest indoor climbing wall parks in the country, something like that. I don't know. It's got some superlative attached to it, but then again, what doesn't nowadays? Anyway, the great thing about just cruising the mall or these nature centers, or at least the museums in our area, is that they are completely complimentary. No cost associated with that. So that's awesome. And we like to do field trips and excursions pretty often, but we do tend to save our money for the big field trips like the vacations. So anything we can do that is inexpensive is even better. We go to the library fairly frequently, and one of the things I do like to get is books for science experiments or other things that you can physically do. That this is the hardest thing to do, but I think it's also one of the best and the most rewarding, is to get things together like that and clear out the house so you've got the room and the space to do it, and then just sit down and do these things. It requires a lot of prep work. The things like we made a one of those, what do you call them, balloon zip lines. So we string up a string from one end of the house to the other and put balloons on them, and straws on them with the balloon. And that shows how the balloon loops all around the house unless it's attached to something, which gives a direction. We did that. We did the thing where you stretch a piece of plastic over a bowl and put that next to the stereo, then put lots of little papers on top and watch how the papers dance when the stereo's turned up louder and louder. So we've done things like that. I'd like to do more than those. Those are very challenging to do because they're time consuming, and you have to really be engaged with the kids because there's a lot of work and very little reward. It's not like, hey, you're bouncing 4 feet in the air, yay, that's easy. That's why they charge you $15 to go in that place, because it's easy, it's fun and easy. The science experiments are fun, and they're also really mentally stimulating, but it's a challenge to do. So what I suggest is you make a list of all the things that you'd like to do. Figure out how many weekends you're going to have to get through. Assume that most of them, say 60 to 70%, you're not going to be going outside. Or if you are going to be going outside, it's going to be a little thing. Block out how many of those you already have plans for. And then you can make certain assumptions that 30 to 40%, you're going to be able to go outside, so you don't need anything there. And then just make a list of all the things that you want to do from top to bottom. If there's some specific things that you want to do, like I definitely don't want to miss this, give it a date early on. And then if you come on that weekend and, hey, it's really warm outside, go outside. We'll do the thing next weekend. You can always do it next weekend. And then towards the end of the season, when you're really scraping the dregs, if we have an unusually long and cold winter, you might have some more difficult things to do, but you're not going to be burnt out in the middle of January saying, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do with the kids. You'll have done lots of things already, and there's still plenty of things left on your list to do. And you can be as anal about this or as flippant about it as you want, but I would suggest at the very least spend half hour, 45 minutes coming up with a list of things that you want to do. And most of the time, if you come up with a list of things that you want to do, you could throw away the list, because mentally your brain starts chewing on that list and saying, all right, what on that list really wants to stick? And you'll find that a couple of those things stick, and those are probably the ones that you actually want to do. And then everything else that's on the list is stuff that you'd be fine with, but you don't care about. And then once the kids get older, and you got a 6-year-old, he can try and figure out that stuff for himself. By the time he's 8 or 9, he's going to have an opinion, and that's cool. Indoor sports centers. I imagine there's indoor sports centers around also, although I don't know if we have any of those still here. Stuff where you could go do like batting cages or indoor tennis. Indoor tennis, though, you charge a bit for that. My grandfather's taken my son to do indoor tennis a couple of times. Well, anyway, what do you do with your kids in the wintertime? I mean, you hope for snow because you bundle them up and go sledding and have lots of fun outside in the snow. What do you do? Video games? Of course, video games are great. Rainy day, video game day. Yep, it's nice outside. No video games today. But what do you do? What are your secrets? And if you're in the Washington, D.C. area, you probably know a number of the places that I already mentioned. But, if you're out of town, or not out of town, but if you're from another part of the country or the world, what do you like to do with your kids in the winter? What do you do with your kids in Florida in the winter? Michigan might be a little bit worse, but Florida, I imagine you probably have no use for this video. Anyway, have a nice day.